Welcome to Gentle Restorative. My name is Sandra, and this morning, if you have a blanket, I kind of like to start out with that. So go ahead and grab it. And of course, if you don't have props, do not go into panic mode. Make every pose, with and without props. So I'm not really too particular how you're going to end up folding it, but this is what I did to mine. If you can kind of see it, I know there's a dark background behind me. I made it pretty flat. I want to put this behind me. And I'm going to kind of offset it so that I've got a big tail off on one side. It doesn't matter which side you choose. I just want to lay back on this really, it's not even, I was going to say a really gentle supported back bend. It's not even really that. It's just support for the low back. And I'm just going to lay down, right over that. You can put your arms wherever you want to and close your eyes. So you will feel a little bit of lift from that blanket underneath the spine. And then while we're here, let's go ahead and widen out the legs so that the ankles and the feet feel like they have room to just fall wide open, as if you were in Shavasana, but please don't get that excited yet. And then take a deep inhale. Loud exhale. Go ahead and take a moment to scan through the body. Notice what's going on this morning. If there's any little creaks going on that we need to be aware of. You might start to deepen the breath here. And then let's bring the palms together just above us and rub the hands together so you can get them nice and warm. Looking for some friction. When the hands feel warm, go ahead and set them gently over your closed eyes. And, today's theme is about the sunlight, but I want you to notice here how you're seeing the darkness. And soak that in. Know that it's a safe place. It's a comfortable place. I had stumbled on a quote by Helen Keller this morning. She wrote, "Keep your face to the sun and you'll never see the shadows." So I saw the quote before I saw who penned it. And I was thinking, well, that's not really right. If we do not observe our shadows, how do we learn? Right? Take a deep breath. And as you exhale, let the hands come back down wherever they want to end up. So of course, when I saw who wrote it, I got the quote from a different perspective, but I want to take it from the way I initially saw it. I want to appreciate the sunlight, especially since I've been informed that it's going to rain tomorrow. But we need to know where the shadows are. We don't need to know where they are as a way of like a forewarning. We need to know where they are so that we can embrace them too, right? And I kind of think that's a good quote. I really was going to end with it, but I think it's a good quote to keep in mind as we still progress through this strangeness of the world, that I think there are going to be a lot of shadows. We have to figure out how we make changes according to those shadows. How do they change our habits? How do they change our viewpoints? How do we move forward into a new, right? So go ahead and lay your hands across your heart or take them to prayer pose at your heart center. Now let's pause here to set an intention. And then when you're ready, let's interlace the fingers, stretch the arms overhead, palms away from your crown chakra. Take a few deep breaths. When you get to an exhale, let's bring the arms back down, release the fingers, and then the easiest way for you to come back up for a moment. So I'm just going to plant my feet on the mat and pull myself up, but if you want to roll to a side first, you could do that. I want to grab the tail of that blanket and fold it over so that this is now becoming more of a supported back bend. So if you do not have any props at all, you don't even have like a sweatshirt you can shove underneath the low back, that's okay, just lay back down. If you have low back issues and you don't want to be in a supported back bend, I wouldn't fold the blanket back over, right? So go ahead and very carefully release the back over that blanket. Do some wiggling to get yourself comfortable. And then we're going to go ahead and straighten the legs out again, and let's keep them kind of wide. So I want you to notice as you close your eyes how this feels. If it's too intense, come back up. Lessen the amount of blanket underneath you, right? If you're okay here, let's breathe into the heart space. You can feel the ribs lifting, right? You can feel the heart lifting. And so I want you to imagine that the heart energy is lifting up, rising up towards the sun. We have two fabulous energies, right? The sun's energy, the heart's energy. I want you to visualize them meeting somewhere in the middle and letting their energies mingle. And so allowing that sun energy to feel nurturing, nourishing, of course, very warm, embracing. The heart energy is love, self-love, compassion, and just feeling this beautiful exchange of those two energies, inviting and opening up to the sun as you're expressing gratitude and love. Feel surrounded by that. Start to deepen the breath if you have let that go. Just really want you to fill up the lungs. You might exhale out loud a few times. It might be a loud sigh. And so, of course, we're going to be talking a lot about sunlight. And when this particular video goes up on YouTube and maybe you watch it again, maybe it's not sunny out, right? Really delve into the imagination. Conjure up that sunlight because the mind is powerful. We don't have to succumb to the gray weather, to the rainy weather, to the cold weather. Let's take a deep inhale here. Hold the breath. Explosive exhale. And then I'm going to plant one foot on the mat, then the other, and then very carefully go ahead and roll to whichever side seems easier. Just want to pause there for a moment. I can already feel the release of my low back, right, from that arch that it was being held in. And then very slowly, let's push our way back up into a seated pose, perhaps Sukhasana or Siddhasana. I'm going to just move my blanket out of my way. And then to counteract that back bend, let's take the palms to the knees and just round out in a seated cat pose. You can tip back as far as you want to. You could even let the knees lift up off the ground. But just breathe into the low back. Let it expand. One more really good breath here. Sit back up. Stretch out that right leg. I want to go ahead and tuck that left foot in. And in fact, I want to pull it in as close as I can get it, but as close as it's comfortable, right? Flex the front foot. I'm going to hug that left knee with my right elbow. Take the left hand behind. Sit up nice and tall and hold right here for a second. I want you to feel perhaps the ribs pushing against the thigh. If the leg doesn't get in that close, that's okay. We're not going to force it. If we're having a theme about sunlight, everything has to be happy and cheery, right? Close your eyes here. Spread the toes on the right foot as far wide as they'll go. You might even imagine sunlight drifting in between the toes, right? That's how far you want to spread them. And you don't have to hold that when we go into the twist. We're just playing around here. Lengthen a little bit more. When you get to an exhale, now take that twist to the left. Keep hugging the knee in. I leave it up to you if you feel like you want to relax the toes on the front foot, but do keep that foot flexed. One more inhale. Exhale, unravel. We're going to just let that left knee fall open. Realign the spine a little and just kind of turn the heart to that right foot. Sit up tall, walk your way into a fold right here. So when I came downstairs this morning to make that first essential cup of coffee, the sunlight was pouring in through the kitchen window and it was kind of blinding, but you know, you have to be appreciative of that, right? And so I thought, we have to do a theme about this sunlight because we haven't seen a lot of it lately. And I don't know, it's so mood uplifting, isn't it? Okay, next exhale, soften a little bit more into that stretch. And go ahead and slowly walk your way back up. Take the legs into cobblers, so allow the soles of the feet to meet. If you need props under the knees, go ahead and put them there. Just grabbing onto the, the feet, closing your eyes, sitting up nice and tall. And then I'm just going to take my right elbow, or maybe the forearm, rested on the right knee. I'm just gently going to push that knee down. So I'm leaning a little bit, but it's mostly an arm movement of pushing. Breathe. We're not pushing too hard. The stretch should be good. Come back to center. Take it to the other side. And then back to center. We're stretching out the left leg. We're going to hug that right knee in. See how close you can get that foot towards you. Flex the front foot. Spread the toes really wide. Take the right hand behind you. Hug that front knee with the opposite elbow. Sit up tall and hold it right here. You can close your eyes if you want. I don't know exactly where you have set up your mat, but right now there's a lot of light streaming in through my office window, so kind of like closing the eyes because I can still see the light. It's reassuring. And then sit up tall, take that twist to the right. You decide if you're going to keep working on spreading the front toes or If you're going to relax the toes, but keep that foot flexed. A few more breaths here. Can you keep this pose really compact? And when you're ready, go ahead and undo that twist. Open the right knee out to the side. Sit up tall and come down into that fold. And just allowing the eyes to close. I kind of want to go off on this thought that shadows are not bad places to be. Don't we seek out the shadows in summertime when it's really hot out? We look for the biggest, most full tree, right? Because it's got the best shadow and shade underneath it. You know, Chris Jamie wrote that thunderstorms are as much our friends as is the sunshine. It's kind of along the same premises, right? We don't need to be scared of the darkness. Although I get the sunshine makes us happier and cheerier. A few more deep breaths here. Sink deeper into the stretch. And then when you're ready, let's come back up. Let's take this back to Baddha Konasana. Cobbler. Grab onto the feet. This time, get the thumbs on the inside of the feet so you can just gently open the feet up a little bit, sit up tall, and if you want to, come into a fold right here. You might even take the elbows to the inner legs and push against the legs to help open up the hips a little more. If you prefer to let go of the feet, of course, you can stretch your arms out. Maybe you come a little deeper into this fold. And then just slide your way back up. Perfect. Straighten out the legs. Shake them out just a little bit. And then I'm thinking restorative next. How about you? So let's find the bolster. Let's grab a block. I'm going to put the block at the end of my mat where my feet are going to be heading. Actually, I'm going to turn this higher. I'm going to add my second block for support. So if you only have one block, that's okay. Let's go with the higher height. I'm going to prop up my bolster on top. And then when you're ready, go ahead and scooch as close to the bolster as you can get. But now I'm going to offset to the left just a little bit because only my right leg is going to go on top of that bolster. And then I think for added fun and excitement, I'm going to take my blanket as just a little extra weight on that leg and just cover up the right leg. Then when you're ready, gently lay back down. Slide those shoulder blades underneath you. Relax the low back. And as you close your eyes, allow this pose to be all about the right leg, allowing it to relax. So with the eyes closed, let's find ourselves a field or a forest preserve. And I don't know about you, but I'm thinking about laying down in the grass. So find yourself a spot. For me, I wouldn't want to lay in tall grasses. I think that would be too tickly and itchy. So I'm going to find myself a very soft patch of grass, or maybe there's a lot of clover and just sounds soft. The sun is shining directly above us. We have our eyes closed so we're not blinded, but yet we can absorb the beautiful light. The eyelids closing diffuse that sunlight, but we can feel its warmth spilling over the body. It's kind of like, I'm thinking, when you go to get a massage and you're laying on a heating pad and you start to slowly feel the heat kick in and the body softens and relaxes. That's what I want you to feel. Each breath you take, you decide to let go. Each breath you take, giving way to the earth's support beneath you. And perhaps we even invite in the very slightest of breezes. And maybe we add a tree kind of nearby, but not so that we're embraced by its shade. But let's have a branch reaching out over us with fabulous full green leaves, so that as the breeze moves, so do those leaves. And the sunlight now dances across our body, so that if we were to open our eyes, we would see these dots of light moving about on top of us. But I want you to visualize it and I want you to feel it. It's as though we've been invited to play in this game with the wind and the sun. Strong inhale. Add your loud breath to that breeze. And from here, I'm just going to take my right hand up to find that blanket. I want to slide the blanket off. And then I'm going to bend the left knee, planting the foot on the floor. From here, let's get the outer right ankle on top of that left thigh for our supine pigeon. So the right foot is flexed. Right knee is pushing gently away from you. And then as the left foot leaves the ground, you could actually slide that foot over so it's resting on the bolster if you want to. Or if that does not initiate enough stretch for you, then pull that leg in closer. You might use the fingers behind the left thigh to help you out. Right elbow gently pushing into the inner right thigh. You can hear all the dogs outside that are happy it's sun shining, right? Let's hug that leg in just a little more if that's okay with the right hip. And then gently release. We'll set that left foot back to the mat. Stretch the right leg up to the ceiling. Use your hands to hang on to that leg. Hug it in a little closer. And then as you bend that right leg, I'm going to take my hands from behind the thigh to on top of the shin and just hug that knee in. When you're ready, releasing that right leg, the foot's going to come to the outside of the bolster. I'm going to shift my whole body over so I can realign and get that left leg up on the bolster. And then if you need to come back to sitting to get that, get that blanket up on top of your left leg, go ahead. I'm just going to toss mine. Perfect. And then straighten out the right leg, of course. When you're settled, will you go back to laying in the grass and feeling the warm sun coming down upon you? I want you to take your focus to the third eye, that energy center between the eyebrows, ajna. And I want you to imagine that energy center has the ability to open up, and you can actually invite a stream of sun rays to come straight down into that energy center, inviting in from the light whatever you need most. So I'm just imagining that I'm inviting in all this warmth, and I'm letting that move through the inside of my body, softening muscles. Wow, that is a lot of dog activity outside. So let's imagine. You can imagine either dogs playing in your field if you like, or I don't know, I'm partial to wolves. I might imagine a very friendly wolf in my field. I might invite him over and see if I can pet him. It's totally up to you how far you want to let your imagination go. Your other option is, if you guys can hear that as loudly as I can, is to set the intention that external noises, even in your space, allow you to go deeper. Every external noise you hear that is not part of our practice simply takes you deeper and deeper into relaxation. What else do you want to invite in from the sun? Do you need healing in any way? Do you need a little vitamin D because we've been in gray weather for so long? Just set your intention that you're thanking that energy for what you need, rather than wording it in such a way like, I need this, I need this. Thank you for this, right? And so let your imagination take you where it wants to go. I've just imagined that my wolf came over and laid down by my right shoulder, and his head is resting right on top of me. If you're not finding it super easy to visualize and imagine, what I really don't want to happen is frustration to enter the scene, right? If you're not feeling like you're great at visualizing, then you just relax. Do not get frustrated. And for a moment, just feel the weight of that left leg, relinquishing to whatever you have holding up that leg. And then take the left hand to find the blanket. Gently pull it off of you, set it aside. I'm going to rebend the right leg so the foot's on the mat. Take the outer left ankle up on top of the right leg for our supine pigeon. Set my alignment. And then, of course, option A is to stay right here, but you could take that right foot and bring it up on top of the bolster, or you could pull that leg in even closer. If you're hugging that leg in, I do kind of like to get my opposite elbow to push into the bent leg so that you're helping open up the knee. I think my wolf has fallen asleep because the dogs have stopped barking. Take one more deep breath. And then gently allow that right foot to resettle on the earth as you extend that left leg up towards the ceiling. And then if you recall from here, we took the hands from behind the thigh and we brought them on top of the shin as we bent the leg and drew it in towards the heart. And then I'm going to set that left foot down on the left side of the bolster. I just want to kind of shift. I want to make sure I'm centered now with that bolster. We were probably still off to the side. And then can we take the legs into cobbler with the ankles up on top of the bolster? Just for a moment, relax and see how this feels. This could open up the hips too much for you. So if the blocks are near, oh no, we have the blocks propping up our bolster. We have no blocks. So if the hips are too wide, I want you to take the hands underneath the thighs, hold the legs up about an inch higher. We're not staying here long. One more breath here. And then bring the knees up towards each other and hug both of them in. Go ahead and rock a little bit. Let's lift the head and shoulders up, get into the tightest ball you can. Maybe you can grab onto the toes or the feet. We could play here a little bit. If you want to grab onto the big toes, you could see about stretching the legs wherever they'll go. I still have the head and heart lifted. Just kind of playing around. If you push the toes into the hands, then it's almost as though the feet are lifting your upper body a little more. You should feel more stretch between the shoulder blades. And then, of course, you can draw the legs in towards you and then re-hug the knees in, take it to a fetal position. And then slowly make your way back up. Okay, let's move those props out of the way for a moment. And find our way into table. Inhale into cow. Round it out into cat. Come back to table. Stretch the right leg out behind you. Take the left arm forward into cat balance. Here's your inhale. Exhale, elbow to knee. Right underneath you, rounding out the spine. Stretch it back out. Bring it in. Stretch it out. One more. And release to table. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Coming back to a neutral spine. Send the left leg out behind you. When you have your balance, add the right arm. Inhale. Exhale. The knee and the elbow find each other underneath you. Stretch it out. And pull it in. Stretch it out. Last one. Come back to table. Tuck the toes, downward facing dog, walk it out. Stay for a deep breath. Loud exhale. And let's gently drop the knees back to the earth. I'm going to re-grab my props. We're going to come into supported child's pose. So you can get creative if you want to. I think I'm going to just take my bolster vertically in front of me between my knees. I might add my blanket for a pillow. Perfect. And then come on down. So now you can feel the sun on your back, right? You were already there before I said it. I'm sure of it. I want you to kind of visualize those sun rays in a cartoonish kind of way, as though you really visibly can see different rays of sun coming down. And at the end of those rays, where it hits your skin, it's like it spreads off into little fingers, and that sunlight is just massaging everything away. Allow it to feel just peaceful and surreal. Everything about the space you're in is beautiful, it's comfortable, it's safe, it's loving. It is everything that you would want it to be. So if you have your head turned to one side, will you go ahead and turn it to the other? If you had your forehead down, just stay right there. And then, depending on how you're situated, let's all take the left ear back down to the bolster or whatever you're lying on. Right, so your head is turned to the right. I'm going to take my left arm and stretch it way out in front of me. I've got my fingertips on the earth. I've got the wrist lifted because I want this arm really active. And then, if it's okay with your body and how you're supported, obviously don't do this if you don't feel supported here. Let's make this option A. Option B would be to take the right arm and bring it around behind your low back. So if your arms are doing all the weight and holding you in child's pose, you're probably not going to want to go here, right? So as the left fingers keep walking away from me, I'm just going to lift that right shoulder up. Just getting a little bit of opening in that shoulder. Breathe. Exhale, release the right shoulder, release the right hand. We'll gently switch this to the other side. So right ear coming down, right arm stretching way overhead. You're on the fingertips of that hand, lift the wrist up high. And as those fingers walk away from you, left arm comes behind you. And then just see if you can peel back that left shoulder for a moment. Exhale, release the left shoulder and arm. Draw the right hand back in and round through the spine as you push your way up. Let the head be the last part of the body to lift. Perfect. Draw the shoulders up. Take them back and down. Drop the chin. Still pulling the shoulders back. And then if you feel like you kind of need to rotate the head a little bit, things are tight, go ahead. And then also noticing where it feels tight so that the next time we're in a restorative pose and we're imagining the sun coming down to massage us, that's where you want to send the sun's rays, right? Okay, I need to move my props back out of my way. I'm going to pull my knees in towards each other. And then hands forward, pop up so that you can tuck the toes and sit back into broken toe pose. And then, of course, have all 10 toes actually tucked. So you might need to reach down and make sure a couple toes might be a little stubborn. And of course, we're not staying here super long either. I don't really want you to break any toes. Let's take the arms up. Bring the palms together. Release them to the heart. Now that's a nice sound to hear. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but somebody's mowing their lawn. So that means the weather's nice for sure. And then I'm going to take my hands back down to the mat, just kind of in front of the knees, so that I can lift my knees up. I'm just going to rotate back under the balls of the feet a little bit and maybe pedal out the feet. We're not trying to get the heels down. We're just playing. Perfect. And then let's bring the knees back down. Untuck those poor feet. And sit back onto the heels for a moment. Perfect. Just give them a break. And then when you're ready, we're coming forward down onto our stomachs. I'm going to move this bolster out of the way. So when the timing is right for you, come on down. Oh my gosh, I keep hitting the door stopper. I suppose one should advise me to unscrew that thing, right? Let's find Cobra. Move around, find the tight spots, massage them out with the movement. And then let's gently float down on an exhale. Forehead to the mat, pause right here. When you get to an inhale, find another Cobra. And when you get to an exhale, take it back down. Forehead back to the mat. From here, let's take the hands behind us into Yoga Mudra. Stretch the arms out, knuckles reaching for the toes. I'm still just staying down. I have my forehead on the mat. It's just the arms that are working at pulling the shoulder blades down, lengthening them. Option A is right here. Option B, you can see about lifting the arms up a little bit behind you if they will move at all, right? Option C, if you want to lift the head and heart into half locust, go ahead. You're still breathing, right? You know I can't hear you, so just making sure. And then slowly release down, release the fingers. Make a pillow for your head, reverse Shavasana for a moment, soften everything. You're still lying in the grass. And remember, we were identifying tight spots, perhaps in the neck, so let the sun massage it out. Just imagining the warmth of the sun is gliding over the muscles. The warmth is soaking into your skin. All right, one more fabulous breath here. I'm certain nobody wants to move, but dot, dot, dot. Go ahead and get the hands underneath your shoulders. Take your time getting back to your hands and knees. And then if you want your blocks for underneath your hands, go ahead and grab them. We're heading into lizard, so if you know you need more space, more room for that leg to move, you probably would like your blocks. Otherwise, go ahead and get that right foot to come up to the outside of the right hand, and then I'm gonna have to move my hands forward a little so I have room to soften my hips down. And you can play around here. You might just kind of sway back and forth, sinking a little deeper. You can rest your right arm up on top of that right knee. If you choose to do that, you could sink a little bit into a twist, right? Drop that left hip down, pull the right shoulder back. So just playing, finding some movement that makes sense to you. Oh, I don't know. I feel very compelled right now to say there's no pain in yoga. Not that I would be directing that towards anybody in particular. I'm just saying there's no pain in yoga. You might roll onto the outer edge of that front foot a little bit if you want to. Perhaps you decided not to rotate that left hip down. You could come down onto the forearms. You could still open up that right leg if you drop down. If you're feeling particularly crazy and earthy, you can see if you can get any lower than just the forearms. That's up to you. I don't know that I'd highly recommend this. My right hip is probably not going to be pleased about that later. Speaking of hips, I have a new little exercise we can do to help out that issue. So, one more breath here. And then you're going to slowly meander back to table. Let the hips sway back and forth. When you are ready, finding lizard on the other side. Getting that left foot forward, softening the hips down, right? So my hands need room to move forward too. Decide what you would like to do on this side. Kind of have to have a lizard pose and a theme about sunshine, don't you? They all like to sunbathe so much. When you are ready, let's slowly come back to table. Move however you need to kind of let go of that pose. And then if you have props that are along your side, go ahead and just move them out of the way for a second. I'll show you something how we can help out the hips if these hip openers are a little distressing to them. So if you were to come down onto your left side, I'm going to prop up my head with my left arm. You're going to take your thumb on the right hand and dig it in to whatever sensitive spot you have going on with the hip. Find it. I mean, this isn't going to be comfortable. You're going to really dig in when you find a tender spot. Oh yeah, there it is. And push. Push really hard. Okay, I have the knees slightly bent. I'm going to lift up the top leg. Keep pushing. Push, 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 push. This shouldn't feel good. This should be like, well, okay, I would have to go back and rephrase the no pain in yoga. But technically, this really isn't a yoga pose. So tap the front knee down to the floor in front of you while you're really pushing hard on that spot. And then bring that leg up. I'm taking it behind me. I'm straightening out the leg. and then lift it up. Right knee to the ground in front of you. That thumb is digging. In fact, if you really want to work it out, have somebody else do it. You might need something to bite down on. Lift that leg. We'll just do this one more time. Front knee to the ground. Keep pushing with the thumb. Straighten that leg. Make it reach behind you. Keep pushing, keep pushing. Lift that leg up. Hold it right there. Push, 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 push. Relax everything. Shake that hand out. Whew. The thumb should be like tired. Yeah? Okay, switch to the other side. Truly give yourself a moment to find that tender spot. So start digging around with the thumb. This for me is probably one of the most painful parts on my body. And so I have found that this kind of helps relieve. So I totally have it. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'd say my discomfort is about an 8. So I'm pushing pretty hard. Go ahead and lift that top leg. Left knee to the ground in front of you. Keep pushing. Straighten the leg. Make it reach behind you. Lift the leg higher. You can feel that thumb lock in, right, with the muscle. Knee to the ground in front of you. Stretch it out behind you. Keep pushing with the thumb. Don't give up. Lift that leg. One more. Bring the knee down to the ground. Stretch the leg out behind you. Keep pushing. Lift the leg. Hold it. Let everything go. Shake out that left hand. Give the thumb a break. Whew. Okay. You should feel that. It's almost as though you can still feel where your thumbs were pushing in, right? Come on back up. Find your happy space. Close your eyes. It's just about the breath right now. If you happen to be in a room where you do have sunlight spilling in, just be conscious of that behind closed eyes. I'm sending a little love to my thumbs. They're not happy right now. And then inhale, take the arms up. Exhale the right hand to the earth. We're looking for that side bend to the right. Use the right hand to push your way back up. Release the left arm down. Inhale, both arms. Exhale, left hand is finding the earth, so you can take the side bend to the left. Push the ground away with the left hand. Slowly make your way back up. And then we're coming down on our back. We have a little bit more work to do, but you might have your Shavasana props within reach, so you don't have to come back up. When you're ready, on your back, hug the knees in. All right, open the arms wide or take them to scarecrow. If you're running out of room, drop the knees to the left. You might have a prop underneath to catch them. And then just close your eyes. So one of the Netflix shows I've been watching is based off of one of my favorite book series when I was young, which was Anne of Green Gables. So I've been watching Anne with an E, which then kind of led me, I don't know, to finding this other quote I wanted to share with you by my favorite TV show when I was young, which was Little House on the Prairie. And so Laura Ingalls Wilder wrote this. As the years pass, I am coming more and more to understand that it is the common, everyday blessings of our common, everyday lives for which we should be particularly grateful. They are the things that fill our lives with comfort and our hearts with gladness. Just the pure air to breathe and the strength to breathe it. Just warmth and shelter and home, folks. Just plain food that gives us strength. The bright sunshine on a cold day and a cool breeze when the day is warm. And when I read that, I was thinking about this lockdown situation and how she really summed up, frankly, what's important. Go ahead and draw the knees back to center. Take them to the other side. Let's be back in our field. Maybe the sun is not so directly above us anymore. It's still shining upon us, but it's starting to meander its way across the sky. The light is more diffused around you. It's soft. Can you imagine that it's kind of creating this shield of soft light around you? And whenever you envision a shield, I think you should give it an intention, right? What's it shielding you from? What's it there for? Whenever I put up a shield, my intention is simply that only good can enter and nothing else. I don't even use the opposite word of good because I don't want to put that out there either. I just set the intention that only good can enter my shield. Let's slowly bring the knees back up. Hug them in again. If there is another stretch you need to do, I'm giving you a minute here to just do whatever you need. If you feel like some part of the body just is calling out to you and you have to do something else, you should totally do it. Otherwise, where we are heading in that after that minute is Shavasana, so you can start setting up. Make it super comfortable because we're really not done with that field, and I want you to be warm and happy. If you want to cover up with that blanket, you totally should. So no hurry. Move around a bit if that's what you need to do. If you're thinking, oh, heck no, I'm ready for Shavasana, go ahead and set that up. We're all going to end up in the same spot together eventually. The reason I was suggesting that perhaps you cover up with the blanket is because I kind of want this idea of when the sun goes, we're still hanging on to its warmth. Doesn't mean it's gone, right? When you're ready, let's find Shavasana. Settle in. When you're ready to close your eyes, be back in your field. And so here, I want to visualize the sunset. Beautiful colors streaming across the sky, ribbons of colors. And it's your vision. You decide what colors they are and how they mingle and mix. And I want you just to allow that to be almost like a photo moment where everything stops moving. Even the sun, it's not lowering, it's just staying where you see it. With those, I don't know, it's your vision, but maybe sherbety colored streams across the sky, and you still feel the warmth. Just because the sun will soon disappear and we will be engulfed in shadow does not mean it is a bad place to be. It doesn't mean it's cold there. It doesn't mean anything. It's just another place to rest and absorb and rejuvenate. As you look at those colors in the sky, is there one color that seems predominant? Is there one color you seem more drawn to? And if so, could you invite that color to come down towards you? Kind of like the sun rays were doing, reaching down towards you. And perhaps you allow that color to tint your shield. And then take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, let the sun continue its journey. Let it gently drop away behind the horizon. And as it disappears, the last tendrils of light softly fade to black, to a very restful space in Shavasana, where you're free to go wherever you want to until I come back to get you. Keeping your eyes closed. Bring the palms together above you and create that friction like we did before, rubbing the hands together. And when they feel nice and warm, gently cup them over the eyes, inviting in the shadows. Slow, deep inhale. Let go of the breath as you gently release the hands. And then with as little movement as possible, rolling onto a side. Keep your eyes closed. As you gently push the ground away, let the head hang heavy so that the head is the last part of the body to lift back up. Draw the shoulders up toward the ears. Peacefully take them back and down. Strong inhale through the nose. Super loud exhale. Inhale the arms up. Bring the palms together and release them home to your heart. The light in me bows to the light in you. And when I'm in that place in me and you're in that place in you, then we become one. Namaste.